大家好，欢迎大家来到沙哈加瑜伽的线上静坐。今天我们要介绍的是梵天 Brahma Chaitanya 的原理。我们会一起静坐，之后会一起聆听 Shri Mataji 对于梵天原理的解释。之后我们会再度的静坐。那首先我们就先一起提升能量画班丹。提升能量画班丹，这个在之前有介绍过，所以大家如果不知道的话，可以参考一下之前的介绍。那我们先一起提升能量画班丹。接下来我们可以把双手放在膝上，掌心朝上，把注意力放在头顶。我们可以静静的坐一会儿。现在我们可以把右手放在左侧的属膝处，身体的外缘。这里我们可以在心中说：母亲啊，请给我上天真正的知识。你可以在心中说个几次。接下来我们可以把右手放在左侧的腹部肋骨下缘。这里我们可以在心中说几次：母亲啊，我是我自己的老师。母亲啊，我是我自己的导师。接下来我们可以把右手往上移，放在心上。这里我们可以在心中说个几次：母亲啊，我是个纯洁的灵。接下来我们可以把右手放在左侧肩膀跟脖子的交界处，这里我们可以把头微微的向右转。这里我们在心中说个几次：母亲啊，我没有罪恶感。 接下来我们可以把右手放在前额，把头微微的往上弯。不好意思，这里我们可以把右手放在前额，把头微微的向下低。这里我们在心中说个几次：母亲啊，我原谅所有的人，我原谅我自己。接下来我们可以把右手放在后脑，这里我们可以把头微微的向上倾，而在这我们在心中说个几次：母亲啊，如果我犯了任何的过错，请原谅我。最后，我们可以把右手掌心放在头顶聪门之处，在右手施予一些力气，顺时针的按摩头顶。这里我们也可以把头微微的向下低，在心中我们可以说：母亲啊，请巩固我的知觉。我们可以说7次。接下来我们可以把右手放在膝上，把注意力放在头顶。我们右手刚刚处在的位置，然后我们可以放轻松地静静坐一会儿。我们可以缓缓地睁开眼睛。接下来我们会一起聆听Shri Mataji 对于梵天原理的讲话。
Today I want to tell you about something. Perhaps I've never touched that point before. But I have not talked about it. It is about the principle of Brahma. What is principle of Brahma? How does it exist? How is it born? How does it manifest? And how it is detached and also attached. The principle of Brahma is different from Brahman in this way. Like the principles that I follow is different from what I am. It's a very subtle subject and requires real meditative attention. So all criticism of your mind, please put them off and just I will put a solution for it. And just listen with maybe little subtler attention. Can you come forward? You all can come forward so that those will be coming later can come later. I think better thing is to come forward. My care. It's better to come forward. Yeah. On which you are based are different from what you are. In the same way, the principle of Brahma is different from the Brahma itself, but is the Brahma and contained in the Brahma. But the Brahma itself is sustained by the principle. In dimension, you may say that Brahma is wider, larger, and you can call it even deeper. But the subtler is the principle. This principle exists in Brahma at the beginning of the universe. At the very beginning it exists, but as it is an eternal phase of creation, destruction, sustenance between, as in Sanskrit they call it sthiti, state of performance you can call it. In all these three stages, Brahma principle changes according to the container that it has. Like here the light looks like, the shade looks like, of the shade of the cloth that is covering. Looking like is the mind, is the illusion. Something that looks like something which it is not. This phenomena is the mind, is the illusion. So the principle acts, pulsates the Brahma, and in the Brahma exists all the power which later on manifests the creation. So the principle, which is the divine power, the aura of that, or the thing that it sustains, is the complete Brahma, and that Brahma has got three powers, namely one of existence, second of creation, third of sustenance. The principle is the pulsating power of the Brahma. and it is represented as Om. When we say Om, this is used also in the Christian prayer as Amen. It's the same as Om. There's no difference. When we say Om, actually the action of this principle is in the form of Om, like this, which is written on your forehead, if you can see it inside, in that way here. This principle is the, you can say, the feet. This principle is the fetus of the divine form. Then the same principle, or you can call the seed, then it divides into three strands and enters into the creative, sustaining and the existing power of the Brahma Tattva and manifests. We haven't got any visuals, so I could have shown you, but it permeates, just like the rivers flow and permeate in the soil and nourish it. In the same way, this principle of Brahma flows, permeates, pulsates, and nourishes the surrounding area of Brahma. So when the attention, you call it as Mahachitta, or the attention of God, you can call it, is on this principle, then Brahma doesn't exist. Are you following me? When the attention moves from the principle, it doesn't leave. When the river flows, it doesn't leave its source. When it permeates into the Brahma, it starts feeding. This principle is detached as the light or the electricity inside this globe is detached. But it permeates. It may permeate through it. It may permeate into this room, but still, it is detached. I wouldn't say there could be any proper simile for Brahma, because that's an absolute stuff. And an absolute cannot be compared. As they call it Atula, it cannot be compared. So now people think, then what is God? Question comes in. Where is God? What is He? What have we got to do with Brahma and the principle that is Brahma? God is the principle. He is the attention. He is the joy. And He is the. And the Brahma that surrounds it is his power permeated, enlightened by him. The same Brahma has got a capacity to get itself transformed into the creative, sustaining, and we call it existing or destructive powers. We can see a small little seed, how it manifests a tree. We never think, from where do the shoots come out? From where does the root come out? What creates the flowers? What gives it the fragrance? For the seeds do not have any effect. But there is definitely a mechanism which is very microscopic inside the seed, placed there, and seed is the form where there is no movement, no manifestation, no food. In the same way, Brahma can be in seed form. So, the sustaining power within us, or the creative power within us, or what you call the destructive power, or the left side power, which we call as the asthitva, is the existing power. All these are manifested by principle of Brahma, but by themselves they are not. So such Chit Ananda, the truth, the joy, and attention. The nature of Brahma, which is this, is God. Why? What is Shakti then? The question comes. The Shakti is the complete Brahma plus the power of God. Like the cotyledons in the sea, the prenule in the sea, the cotyledons support it. Through the cotyledons, the prenule takes all the powers and creates beautiful flowers and all the beautiful fruits. The roots also are created. The food is given by cotyledons. It sustains. Out of this, the principle that does it, the generating power, the germinating power that is in it, is the power that we call as the Shakti. But in a seed, which is a material thing, it has no awareness to do it. It's a very subtle point to understand. The seed itself cannot germinate itself. It has certain other power within it, which is placed by God, that generates it. It cannot do by itself. That power is the God in the seed and also in the earth. The germinating power is the Shakti. That power which makes it do it, but the seed is not aware of it. When you reach to the human stage, you have to know that power, and you have to be aware of that power, and that is self-reliance. The power that has created you, the power that has given you all these three powers, Sira Nadi, Singla Nadi, all Kundalini. The one which is the desire of God. We can take the simile just to understand. the owner of the house, I hope it will work out, but perhaps, how human minds are confused. Supposing the owner of the house walks into the house. This is mine. And creates everything that he wants to do about his house. Now the master goes out. He is not there. When you see a house created. You see the power of all the workmen who have done the job. And somebody who has established it. But you don't know whose desire it is. In the same way, you have seen your body being created. You even see the mind that is being created. You can see your emotions that are there. You can also see you are a human being. You can also see you are much far away from the animal. And if you have some wisdom, you understand also you are much wiser than anything that is created so far. And also if you have some foresight, but the power of desiring power, or we can say the projecting power, or the one who is the owner upon that, the owning power. I mean, I don't know how you understand a master of the whole thing. He is. And then his power of desire, Mahakali's power, is his desire, then manifests everything else. His desire to manifest is Mahakali's power that we see here on the left-hand side, manifested in the human being as Nirmala. Creates all the rest of the universe and everything later on. Of course, it's only the desire. But the one who desires, he is placed in our heart, away from all this. And he just desires. We do not know him, but he knows. We know one thing, definitely, that he knows us. There is someone who is definitely watching us, as in the Gita they say Caxton, the one who is the knower of the feet. The knower of the feet is there. Once you also become the knower of your feet, you are self-realized. This is self-realization. When people talk about self-realization, I'm really shocked. The way people are taken to their hands. Such a revered subject. And just try to mold it for making fun. Just take it. From that level, I mean, this only human beings can do, I can tell you. Nobody can do like this but human beings. Even if they are Rakshasas, they know that this is divine power and you cannot misuse it by any chance. So this principle works. Say in the matter it works. As the electromagnetic force, you can say. But not as the electromagnetic. It works which brings about the electromagnetic force inside that. Can you follow? One. You? here is electricity, but the one who sends the electricity is the person. And he is aware of it. Till you reach the stage of self-realization, you are not aware of it. You cannot control it. You cannot work it out. It works by itself. And that's why the doctors call it as autonomous nervous system and the psychology as unconscious. After realization only, the whole thing becomes your own, in the sense you change sight. So far you have been looking things from there. Now you sit with me and see the whole thing. But this principle of Brahma lives in its mood. It can be in such a mood that it has no duty at all. It has no duty. It just exists. It has no duty. It is not the duty of the owner of a house to do something about it. It is his whim. If he wants to do, he'll do it. Otherwise, he'll live like an animal. He has no duty. I hope you understand the meaning of the owner. Because if the human laws are funny, whatever you may be the owner, still you can't do many things. But if you can think of an absolute owner of a place, absolute owner, yes, very true. You're smiling, but in upset me, they had a freehold house. We couldn't cut the tree, we couldn't plant the tree, we couldn't do this to the hedge, we couldn't do that. But he is an absolute owner. Absolute owner. Understand the absolute word. Where no law but his own laws work. His laws operate. Nobody's law can reach you. Then you may say, the question comes in, then how is it, mother, it is said that we are free? Freedom has been given to us. Only the freedom is so far as to choose. For your betterment, you are not going to better him. You are not going to better Sahaja Yoga by coming to Sahaja Yoga. You are sadly mistaken. No. Sahaja Yoga has no duty. It's a whim. It has no problems. It is standing on its own master. It's not bothered whether you come here or go. It is nishprayojana. It is without any cause. It is public. It's not bothered. So it has to take a form in which it has to bother. Then it creates, like a master of a house, need not bother about anything. He is the master. Who is going to criticize him? Who is going to argue with him? Who is going to challenge him? Who is going to put a court against him? He is the master of him. Absolute master. God means he is not only almighty, but he is the master of all that he has created. He is the master. If he wants, he will do it, otherwise he will not. It is his whim that he has done. So he is not bothered. But then he takes the form sometimes of a person who wants to do something. He wants to bother, just as a whim. He bothers himself and he starts creating. And he creates. And he creates this universe. And he creates you. He creates because he wants to see it with many eyes what he has done. So he creates his own children, grows them up, gives them eyes, so that they can enjoy what he has. He gives them their power. This essence of Brahma is the Ganga Tattva, as in the Sanskrit, or as the Ganga principle. From here, we have to understand that is the first principle, and that is the principle of innocence. That is the principle of holiness. That is the principle of chastity. That is the principle by which we preserve, by which we respect ourselves. That principle has been incarnated on this earth, as I have told you. He is created as Ganesha, but he is incarnated as Jesus. He is a Brahman. He is detached, and that's why he could be resurrected. No other incarnation could be resurrected. He was not born. It was a conception, desire. And that's why he was resurrected. You all perhaps do not know. Now, what is difficult for God? I mean, for an Indian, it is very easy to understand that Ganesha was created by Parvati. Yes, she created. We can never doubt it, because he is God after all. He is an absolute personality. He can do whatever he likes. Of course, he does something that is intelligible to your mind. Tries to. But if he has done something which is not intelligible to you, should not be discarded as something mythological or something out of the blue, not to be believed, because if you say that, then aren't you the most absolute people to judge? Let us know that we are not. We are not, but we have to. He wants you aware of him. And in this creation, when he creates himself into a one primordial being. He becomes, we are viewing that position of being the one primordial being. And then he selects his cells, which have to play an important role, which have to be awake. Now the brain cells are the ones which are aware. Have you ever thought that how these brain cells move? How? How can everything? This little boy asked me this question because he is very much there. But very few people ask this question. How there is gravity? Why this becomes red? Why that becomes green? How it has happened? Who has done it? We take things for granted. Everything for granted. That's the only trouble with human beings. Taking everything for granted. If we do not take for granted everything, and just in all humility say that, oh Lord, we know very little about you. We'd like to know. He takes you up and makes you sit in his brain, so that you become aware of the powers of his brain, of his heart. So where he loves, where he is the ocean of compassion, you become a drop in that ocean. And you also, with your waves, you jump up and down and enjoy that compassion of it. Just a drop you are, but you are the ocean. This is what explains what Kabira says. You see, these great people have described it, but it becomes absolutely ambiguous for you. The human rationality cannot explain all these things. So your rationality has to improve onto vibratory awareness. You have to go to that level, minimum of minimum, to understand God. You cannot understand Him. So don't come out here with ideas that you are going to give something to God. No. You have to think. You cannot think anything. But in your humility, you should experience it. You like? The master loves when a little child brings some flowers. When a little baby brings, say, flowers for the mother likes. Not like, but in fact there's a word Kaustubha. I don't know, there's no word in English for that. Kaustubha is the happiness, the joy that one feels when he sees his child. When the person sees the child returning the love. In its small way, after all, children are, what are they going to do? Like this one, you see, one day he brought 2 tea for me. He says, "Grandmother, you can buy a sari with me." Yes, you better keep it. He found somewhere. He said, "I haven't earned it, but I've got for you. So you can keep it and buy it." Then the feelings that come into mind. Yes, the feeling that comes within at that time in a mother's heart is the thought. The sweetness of it, the beauty of that, you cannot understand by your dry rationale. It can make you parched, complete. There's no feeling, there's no sensitivity, nothing. Oh God, ego, I tell you, it is so pointless. And the parched human being. All the beautiful things that have been shown, all the sensitivity, and horrible books and horrible things that people have taught you, have really finished all that beautiful that was. Such beautiful flowers were beautiful, with such beautiful fragrance behavior, have been parched completely, I feel, by this foolish ego of human beings, which is so limited. It was given to you just to understand the truth. But you have covered yourself completely with that mask. And it's such a difficult thing, I find. Such a difficult thing. Some examples from the a boy came to see me with a friend who is a very big surgeon, not here today. And he is, I would say, just to please the Sahaja Yoga, I said, "Oh no, I tried to take him out." I thought the boy had a terrible guilt with him because he had done something horrible, absolutely horrible. But I told him that you have a guilt, and it's possible, so give it up. Try it. But nothing worked out with him. So egoistic, and such small thing he was. I mean, if he was anywhere near the truth, I would have understood also that he thinks that he should get it or do it. But nothing of the kind. He goes back and tells his Sahaja Yoga, "Oh, I think she is a housewife, that's all. We don't take it seriously." Then Sahaja Yoga said, "Oh, really? What of it? How many people have you seen? I have seen people suffering from cancer in India. I have seen with my own eyes Nirmala. I have seen people getting realization. There are so many I have seen with my own eyes. I have to disbelieve all that and believe you." I don't know that. And this is his answer. But as I told you, that you can take a position when you are bothered. And when I take a position like that I'm bothered about it, then I think that really you are still very, very ignorant. But at least see. At least ask for it. and it should be done because the creation has to be completed, it has to be fulfilled. And you have to know the meaning of your being. You have to know why God has created you and what are you. That is the mind. People waste their time. There's no time to be wasted anymore, I can say. In the West, such a wastage of time, I find. Same in the East. They are doing what you have done before, like they are trying to build bridges and they are trying to do now underground trains. And those who have done it are now committing suicide. Between these two ends, where do I stand sometimes? I start looking at my things. What should I do with these extremes that are there? So please also put your wisdom to your outside situations so it will work. If it does not work out, that's not my concern. Not is my problem. It is your problem that it has not worked out. If an operation is not successful, then the doctor can be blamed because he takes money for it, but not marketing. Not because I don't take money, but I am not bothered about it. I am only bothered that you should get your realization. But I am not bothered if you have not got it. Can you understand that? I will work morning till evening, evening till morning to give you realization. But if you don't want it, I am not bothered. Neither if it does not work out, I am not. It is the same thing. This is the only difference between a mother on this earth and I, the mother, who has to really give you the keys of your kingdom, the keys of your joy, the keys of your truth. I have to do that. And I don't give you by taking anything from you. This must be understood. Because egoistical people immediately are on the guard. What have you got to give me, sir? I do not take anything. I give you. Because I have got it. And you can have it. Because that's your right. So you better have it. But if you don't want to have it, I'm not going to do it. And then I take it. Which I must confess. Because I'm not born. And with the trick, people disappear, reappear, and disappear. So be careful on that. This is the principle of Brahma, which is detached. The principle of Brahma is detached, that acts and takes away the interest. The interest goes away, the attention goes away. You are not bothered about it. This principle cannot be overcome. It is the principle itself. It cannot compromise. That's the point. It's being absolute. Absolute things cannot compromise. For example, there are some people who may say, you see, there are some people who do say, Mataji says that you have to lead a dharmic life. I mean, I cannot give realization to Mr. Hitler if he comes to me. There is something which cannot be compromised. You have to do something. You have to be in a position to receive it. And even if you receive it without that position, it can be worked out. It is also not the principle that goes out of the way to demand something. No, it doesn't. To a point or not, but it won't. But it is such a living principle, the beauty of living principle, which perhaps you know it, but you do not. When the principle is there, like say this house is built, it has got a foundation, and it is built up, and the house is brought in, and then it is done. Then once done is done. If the foundation is weak, it is weak forever. You cannot do it. But the living principle is whatever may be your foundation, it will penetrate into your foundation, into your background, into everything, and can correct. You just ask for it. Whatever may be your conditioning, and whatever may be your guilt, whatever may be your problems, whatever sins you might have committed, whatever wrong things you might have done, living principle can penetrate into it and can reform the whole thing and transform it. You have seen it in a tree, suppose the tree is 50-50, it's completely can manifest. But if you vibrate it, then you see the whole beautiful. Very. So this is the living principle, and that's why Christ has said it. I am the living. This is the difference between the living principle which enlivens or awakens every part of your dead chakras, every part of your dead psyche is awakens, it cures, it purifies, it absolutely neutralizes all that is filth, dirt and ugly, all that is called as sin. It doesn't stop. But you have to just ask. That's the beauty of the living principle. That's why when people get cured with yoga, don't be surprised. It's just the byproduct. Nothing is there. Even when the mad people become alright, nothing is surprised. It's just the byproduct. Because it's a living principle. It penetrates into it. It breaks every bit and bit of it. Cures it. It's so much. You make it into a job. And that is what it's not. But then people come down for Sahaja Yoga. Mother, I have a problem. What's the problem? My friend has not written any letter to me. Will you help? This is sometimes. So even that can be solved. After all, a mother has to show children. But ask for the highest. There is nothing to be asked for but for God. Don't ask him. The rest is all dust. Is all that will finish off. It's all Chalayaman. It's coming, going. Ask for the eternal. Ask for that is stable. Ask for that is the highest and the purest. Don't make me come down. I play with you. When my child asks you something, I have to tell him all right. But when you mature, you must ask for the highest. Do not ask for a job. All right, it's your problem. So, you can understand now from where. But today it's all right because I'm too much in an Israeli. And I was telling just now to people, I don't know what I'm going to talk, but I have talked something. And if you have any questions, please ask me. In the meanwhile, I would like some further to see these people, and then we'll go in for meditation. Okay. Can you see these people now? They're just going to one or two patients that are there. देखिए तुम लोग के हाथ में ठंडा तारा है? ऐसा रखो. All of you should keep your hands like that. कैसा आया हो ये बेटा?
我们可以把双手放在膝上，缓缓的闭上眼睛，把注意力放在头顶。我们可以静坐一会儿。现在我们可以一起提升能量或板凳，结束我们的静坐。感谢大家参与这次的萨哈加瑜伽线上静坐。梵天是一个非常深刻与精微的项目，所以 我们会介绍大家可以反复的聆听Shri Mataji的讲话，反复的对梵天进行静坐，这样子我们会对于梵天这个深奥的主题有更深入的了解。那也请大家在平日可以每天2次的静坐，早上跟晚上，这样也可以让我们的自觉越来越巩固，让我们的注意力越来越精微，能够在萨哈加瑜伽中稳定的进步。那再次的谢谢大家参加这次的线上静坐，祝福大家有美好的一天，再见。